Happy holidays, Beyond the Booth. Back after a slightly longer than anticipated hiatus, but you know what? Things happen. Thanksgiving, overlap with basketball, finals, transcontinental travel. Terrence Newman, where does this podcast today find you?
I'm in Jacksonville, Florida.
Nationwide, baby.
Yeah,
Flying the colors.
yeah.
All right, let's just start
Coast to
with,
coast.
yes, Mountain West, Uber Alice. Let's start with what we already have in the books, which is Mountain West champion Boise State losing in rather one-sided fashion in the Los Angeles Bowl to Washington. Was that a big surprise, 38-10, Terrence?
I was more surprised that the game had even happened.
Okay. It does happen early.
It happens really early. I did not see this game because I honestly did not know it was happening as
Yeah,
soon
the
as it was.
13th. 13th comes early.
I think it's a bad showcase for the Mountain West champion to be
Hmm.
playing in a bowl game that early. Honestly, it didn't feel like there was the proper amount of build up and hype to it. That being said, I do feel like those teams should have been closer on the
Hmm.
scoreboard, even though I
Yeah.
have not been high on Boise State all year. They did win the conference, but I have long thought that they were a little overrated and not as good as some of the preseason predictions had them. Washington was a pretty solid team this year. You know, they've out of all the teams that have gone over from the Pac-12 to the Big Ten, you know, Oregon kind of hit the ground running. It really, there's been no real difference for them. They're still Oregon, you know. It's kind of like they're still in the pack. UCLA has definitely struggled with this transition, and I would say that like Washington and USC have kind of been in the middle. I'm not going to go as far as saying that they've struggled with the transition because they really haven't struggled too much. So yeah, they've been solid. They've been consistent in the Big Ten. They've not been quite at that upper echelon. Up there with Ohio State, Michigan, Indiana, and Oregon. I mean, when you think about that, that really is kind of the upper echelon of the Big
Sure.
Ten right now. Is Ohio State, Indiana, and Oregon. Wow.
Coach
2025.
Coach
What a
Newman had
wild year.
Coach Newman. Have you explored any interest from Michigan in their head coaching vacancy?
No.
You're a man of
I'm gonna
character.
that is we can do a whole podcast on that story
Oh
alone.
my word! And did you see the Ohio University coach just was released also for having an inappropriate relationship with an undergraduate student?
Well,
Tough out there.
I saw something that said that he had gotten in trouble for drinking in his office.
Yeah, that apparently
It all came
was
out during the investigation.
apparently there's more to it than that. Yeah, but he was also had been and obviously anybody's got a problem with alcohol to the point where they show up to a work function inebriated.
Hmm.
You know, God bless.
I'm interested to see how the bowl games are going to shake out
Okay,
after
so Washington
next week.
State, Utah State, and the famous Idaho Potato Bowl on Monday, the 22nd. Both teams are a rip-roaring 6-6. Utah State listed as a 1.5-point favorite.
That's a pretty good game. That's a pretty evenly matched game.
Future Pac-12 conference names.
It is a future Pac-12 game. Um, Utah State's scrappy. I like their quarterback a whole lot. Um, Washington State seems to be still in transition from it kind of feels like those two schools really haven't fully settled from the whole dust of the Pac-12 evolving yet. It feels like there's still ripples being felt.
You mean
So
Washington
Washington
State and
State's
Oregon
coming in.
State is what you mean
Yeah.
by that.
So Washington State's coming into this game with a new coach.
Mhm.
It's the second coach they've lost since they've left the Pac-12. Um, so a lot of their players are probably one toe in, other foot out of the program. Some of these players probably aren't sure if the new coach is going to want them. I'm sure there's a lot of just a lot of question marks around that program right now. So for that factor alone, I like Utah State in this.
UNLV against the aforementioned Ohio Bobcats in the Scooters Coffee Frisco Bowl on the 23rd. UNLV is 6.5 point favorites.
Yeah,
Ohio's 8-4.
UNLV from a talent standpoint should be head and shoulders above Ohio. Now, Ohio is a pretty decent school. They are a top half of the MAC conference school, consistently a top half of the MAC conference. But that being said, they should not have the weapons to hang with UNLV. This game kind of feels like uh, what UNLV are we going to get?
Well,
Are we
that's
going to
my
get it?
question, right? How locked
Yeah,
in will they be?
yeah. Are we going to get a team that's you know kind of written off the season since they didn't win the conference championship, or are we going to get a team that might have a chip on their shoulder and a little attitude to them because they got beat by Boise State again in the conference championship? So hopefully we see the latter and that they show up to play. And if they show up to play, they should handle their business.
Okay, this one's intriguing. The Sheraton Hawaii Bowl on Christmas Eve, 5 o'clock Pacific. I think this one I will definitely take interest in. Cal and Hawaii. So this is a home game for Hawaii. And the Rainbow Warriors are getting 1.5 to a 7-5 Cal team that has been extremely bipolar this year.
Yeah.
Like which Cal shows up, kind of like UNLV, right?
It's kind of like UNLV, but also kind of like Washington State. They're going
Mm,
through a lot of transition.
yeah,
Um,
they new
I don't
head
even know. Have
coach.
they named their coach yet for next season?
I don't believe so.
I don't. Yeah, I was about to say they don't even know who their coach is going to be next year. So you have players on that team that are thinking, "Am I going to be here next year? Maybe I need to
Again,
start looking somewhere else." You know?
research purposes only. Hawaii's getting 1.5 at home
Yeah.
to a team
So
without a
I
head
actually
coach.
like that. I like that Hawaii has consistency at coach. They have consistency at quarterback. They are sleeping
It's
in
a
their
home
own
game.
beds.
Yeah.
It is a home game for them. And they are coming off of a really good bounce back season. I do feel like they will be motivated to end the season on a high. And I think a lot of these Cal guys, their heads are just going to be in different places.
Yeah.
A lot of them are already moved on to the off season, on to thinking where they're going to play next season. And a lot of that coaching staff is worried about where they're going to coach next season. So I'm going to go with the team that's locked in.
Okay, the day after Christmas, December 26th, the Friday, what the British call Boxing Day, New Mexico and Minnesota at 1:30 Pacific at the Rate Bowl, Chase Field, Valley of the Sun, Phoenix, Arizona. Minnesota is 2.5 point favorites.
This is a good bowl pairing. Now, to your
Yeah.
casual fan, you probably look at those names and you're thinking, oh, well, Big Ten school, New Mexico, Big Ten school is going to roll them.
Minnesota 7-5, New Mexico's 9-3.
This game's going to be a lot more even and a lot closer than people think. I really like New Mexico. I
Yeah, I
like
might take
Coach
interest
Ack.
in this too. Yeah.
I like Coach Ack. I like their quarterback. I like their weapons on offense. They have a really solid defense. And I feel like this is a very confident team, and I feel like this is a team with a chip on their shoulder because they were left out of the Mountain West Championship game. And I do feel like he's the type of coach that's going to be able to use that and use that to manipulate his players to get the best out of them, and just get them really locked in these practices leading up to this. That being said, though, Minnesota is a Big Ten school. There is a talent deficit that New Mexico is going to be coming into this at. But yeah, I honestly, this is a toss up. I think it's a toss up. Minnesota talent wise probably has the edge, but I'd say New Mexico motivation wise,
More to prove.
coach wise, just want this wise. They have the edge.
Okay, moving on to Saturday, December 27th. We have actually competing Mountain West teams. Fresno State taking on Miami of Ohio at 1:30 in the Snoop Dogg Arizona Bowl. And then in the Isleta or Ileta, I don't know how to pronounce that, New Mexico Bowl, North Texas and San Diego State at 2:45 Pacific.
Now that, let's start with that last one
Okay, the Mean Green, right? Number 25 in the
because
nation. They're
that
11 and
might
2.
be the best matchup in a bowl game you are going to see outside of one of the new big New Year's
Mm-hmm.
Six bowls. Like that is two really solid teams. That is two teams that honestly one for like a couple of plays here and there that caused a few losses. Could either one could have very easily been a playoff team this year. I'm really intrigued by this matchup. Very different styles. San Diego State is we both know they lean heavy on their defense and try to get what they can out of their offense. North Texas, complete opposite. They are big on their offense and then just kind of hope that their defense can hold on. you know, so I love this matchup of styles. I think the talent on both teams is pretty even. Both of these teams have some guys that if they don't get drafted, they're gonna end up in an NFL camp. They both have some quality players for G6 programs. Um, yeah, this is really a pick 'em. It could go either way. I'll probably give the slight edge to North Texas, but out of all the Mountain West bowl games, this is the one that intrigues me the most. Um, let's get to Fresno,
Fresno State and Miami of Ohio.
Miami,
Yeah.
Ohio. Also, a little more evenly matched than you might think on paper. Because Miami of Ohio, just like University of Ohio, is a top half of the MAC school. They do play pretty solid, consistent ball. That being said, Fresno State should have a talent advantage over them. They just should. Uh, and I I have mixed thoughts on Fresno State's season this year.
8-4.
8-4, it was solid. It wasn't a bad season at all. It wasn't. It really wasn't. But I do feel like they could have been a little better. I feel like they might have left a little meat on that bone. Um, and so I don't know. Maybe that's just me overvaluating them. Maybe they did reach their potential. But I feel like that's a program that for a little while there, the ship kind of got off course. I do feel like that it's getting back on course to the Fresno State program that we're used to seeing, and and so I do think we'll start to see them back in that 9-10 win range every year. And so I think this is a good bowl game for them to get a win in.
Okay. Those are the games involving Mountain West
Now,
teams
now the
in the
Mountain
bowl
West
season.
champion should not have played their bowl game before
Um,
all of those other teams. That is just I don't know who's doing this scheduling, but somebody in the conference needs to talk to me because that is not how you present your champion on a national stage. That's just not as a
are you going to?
conference we at a conference we need to think better about these types of things.
All right.
So
You know what else was really interesting that today on Thursday, December 18th, is the conference schedule. Home and away pairings were announced for fall of 26. So Nevada will be going to Northern Illinois, DeKalb, going to Las
heavy.
Vegas, going to El Paso, UTEP, and going back to Laradice. And Nevada will be home against Air Force, Hawaii, New Mexico, and San Jose State. So those are the 8 pairings, 4 home, 4 away. Helen, my wife, will be disappointed that we're not at Hawaii, but she'll get over it.
Hey, you're going to El Paso.
El Paso, and I actually love El Paso. Good
I
food,
like
interesting. I don't know if Helen will be on El
so
Paso.
much.
Yeah. I don't know if she likes Mexican food as much as I do.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm glad Helen
Um,
will be happy to know she made the podcast.
off of first glance,
Yeah.
um, I would say that that's a well. First off, I love the new setup. New Mountain West. Everybody's playing everybody.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
We're not going to have this four-way tie where one team only played one other team and then another team played two other teams, but nobody played all the other teams. Everyone's playing everyone. I love that. It reminds me of the old Pac-10 that I grew up on.
That's right.
And not 12, Pac-10.
10. No, I know.
um, and so I love that. And off of first glance, I feel like we got the Wolfpack, that is, got a pretty good schedule. Um, early predictor, I would say going into next year, your top half of the Mountain West is probably looking like UNLV, New Mexico, Hawaii.
Well, you
Would
got two of
you?
those three games at home.
And exactly, you got two of those three games at home this year. Um, and I think NIU is going to do all right into the conference, coming into the conference. I don't expect them to be at the top of the conference, but I also don't expect them to be at the bottom of the conference either. I think they'll probably be somewhere in the middle, maybe lower half of the middle, but somewhere in the middle. Um, Now UTEP is a program that low key they're a sleeping giant.
I agree.
They are. That's one of those programs. It's like if they could ever just get it right, get it together, get their fan base engaged and get the local population, local businesses engaged, and then get some of that talent in Texas to come out west. But they haven't been able to do that yet. And so that's one of the two new programs I feel like they're going to struggle the most in the new Mountain West, and they're probably going to be near the bottom. So that's one of those where it's like, okay, I don't mind going on the road there. I have the Wolfpack can win at the Sun Bowl. You
Yep.
know, I
Terrence,
think
have
the
you
Wolf.
been to the Sun Bowl?
I've driven past the Sun Bowl.
Okay.
I've never been inside of it, but I've
I
driven
think
past it
I
a
may
couple
need to
times.
add that one. We usually only have you on the sidelines for home games, but I may
Yeah,
think I mean, it's such a historic venue. Nevada played a
yeah,
non-con there in 2019.
yeah. I
Um,
might I might try to come
you
out
can
to
catch
that
a
one.
Southwest direct. We can get you on points out of
Yeah,
Burbank. No
yeah,
problem.
yeah. So I
Okay,
might
good.
hit up that one.
I'm glad you're
I
open to
think
that.
I think I'm going to be at UNLV. I'm going to try to get on the sidelines
Sure,
and work that
sure.
one.
Yeah.
Definitely going to be UCLA non-con.
Yeah, so the
Uh,
non-con is home games. So the season kicks off September 5th, Western
yeah,
Kentucky at Mackey, then Montana State at Mackey, then at UCLA on September 19th. And I really hope that game's at the Rose Bowl.
it
Let's
better
be
be at the
real.
Rose Bowl.
Oh man. Yeah. And then at Middle Tennessee. So those are the four dates that are set: September 5th, 12th, 19th, and 26th. Two home and two road for the non-conference four-game non-con. And then the dates have not been set yet for these 8 conference games announced.
You know what's crazy? You read off that non-con schedule. First off, I love the home and home that we've done with Kentucky
Mm-hmm.
and Middle Tennessee. I feel like those are equivalent programs. They're they're programs that are in the same neighborhood, um, as far as talent and
Competitiveness.
resources and
Yeah.
facilities. Um, so they're good measuring sticks. Um, Out of all those non-con games you named off, the crazy thing is the one that scares me the most is the FCS school.
Montana State. Oh yeah.
Montana State is the game that really
At
gives me
Mackey.
pause.
Oh yeah.
Like who scheduled that one? Because that's going to be a tough game. That is not going to be an easy out.
Jeff
That
Choate's
is a
old
game that I don't
employer.
even know if we will be favored going into. Um, that'll be a good measuring stick to see where this team's at. Um, but but yeah, I mean Montana State, I believe they 2 years ago went into New Mexico to start the season off and beat New Mexico.
Sounds right.
So they've got a history of beating Mountain West teams. They look in FCS football. For those that aren't really following it like I hardcore like I will get into it. Your North Dakota State, South Dakota State, Montana, and Montana State are basically Alabama, Georgia, Michigan, and Ohio State of FCS football. You know, they really do. They have that type of quality of players. They have that type of buy-in from their fans, and then they have that type of buy-in from just their resources and facilities. Like I believe Montana State's making renovations to their stadium this offseason again. Uh, you know, they it's an FCS school that has facilities that people at Reno would be jealous of. Yeah, so that game scares me. I like the way the conference schedule breaks down. I like the games that we have at home. I think going to Northern Illinois, going to El Paso will be fun trips. Those will be fun road trips and winnable road trips. And the non-con, I think they could win every game. They could lose every game.
That's
I mean,
why
that's
you
how that
tune in.
non-con like breaks out. It really does. If you told me they went 0-4 in that non-con, I'd say, yeah, I can believe that. If you told me they went 4-0, I'd be like, you know what? I can believe that too. I could see them upsetting UCLA. Like, yeah, New Mexico did it to them. UNLV did it to them last year. But then I could also see Montana State coming into Mackey
I
and
will point out Montana State is in the national semifinal against Montana on the 20th. The
yeah.
final four in FCS, Illinois State, Villanova on one side of the bracket, Montana State, Montana on the other side. Since you're such an FCS guy, Terrence, do you have a prediction for the national champion? I'm totally putting him on the
That's
spot,
a well,
folks.
okay. So I have actually been following this.
I know.
Montana would be the favorite. Out of the four you just named, Montana's probably the betting favorite. I'd say Montana State might be the second. Out of that other bracket, Illinois
Illinois
State.
State and Villanova.
Well, are you familiar with the Illinois State story?
No.
Okay, so they are the team that doesn't belong. They should not be there. They are on a run right now.
Cinderella.
Okay, they went into North Dakota State, beat an undefeated North Dakota
Okay.
State team.
That's not supposed to happen.
Not supposed to happen. Then the next week, they came out and played the Mountain West's own UC Davis, who they were not favored against either. And they upset UC Davis to get to where they're at. So that's the team that is, if there's a Cinderella that's wearing the slipper, it's Illinois State.
Okay.
That being said, I like Villanova. I like Montana. I like Montana to win it all.
Okay. I love it. Mountain West Insider and FCS Bengali. Terrence Newman.
Oh, I stay up on the Big Sky. I like
know.
the Big Sky. I think half the teams in the Big Sky are good enough to be in the FBS right now. I think, honestly, Nevada's recruiting every year should start with an all-conference list of Big Sky players that you can poach.
Listen, Jeff Choate coached in that league. Who's to say it doesn't?
Yeah, no, it probably does. Yeah, no, it probably does. Coach Choate's well aware of the quality of play in that conference and at Montana State for sure. So yeah, I'm big fan of that conference, big fan of the way they go about their business, and a lot of those teams really, really do deserve more publicity and credit because they can hang. They really can hang.
All right, that'll do it for this holiday edition of Beyond the Booth. Happy holidays, everybody. Happy Festivus. He's Terrence Newman. I'm Ramey, and we'll talk to you soon. Peace.